We all need enzymes to break down the food we eat for an easy, pain and bloat-free experience. But many of us are not getting enough enzymes we need to do so. This can result in upset stomachs and even malnutrition if you aren't able to break down the food properly, which is what digestive enzymes do. I know there's a lot of digestive enzyme products on the market. So what makes the digestive enzymes I personally created different? Well, mine only contain the enzymes you want and more of them. So it's super concentrated. No need to include 20 plus different ingredients where you may only be getting a small amount of each. I specifically chose these enzymes and wanted each pill packed with the most they could hold. There's no soy, gluten, gums, or silicone dioxide commonly found in many pills. None of the nasties, only the good stuff. And if you want to grab a bottle or 2 or 3, you can go to nuzest-usa.com/digest for a discount. That's nuzest-usa.com/digest. Hey guys, this is Bethany here. Today's Bite of Knowledge, we are going to be highlighting L-lysine. Now, you want to really pay attention to this because this is something that actually can help reduce stress and anxiety. L-lysine. We're going to talk a little bit about what it is, first of all, and side effects if you are low on L-lysine, what you may be experiencing, signs, symptoms of low L-lysine. Now, this is just mind-blowing here. So L-lysine is an essential amino acid. It's necessary for human health. Now, but our bodies cannot produce it on its own. So therefore, we must get it through food and or supplements. Amino acids like L-lysine are just building blocks for protein. And it's important because that L-lysine assists the production of protein, especially if you take collagen in particular, which I take Further Food daily, but it actually can help the formation of collagen. So collagen production, it assists that, but it also helps in lowering cholesterol, helps muscle tissue recovery. And so it plays a huge part in different areas in our body. So if you are not getting enough L-lysine, you may experience fatigue, which is huge. So many people are experiencing fatigue, and they're just like, I don't know why. I'm doing all the things. I'm doing all the right things. You may just be lacking L-lysine. Another thing you could be experiencing: nausea, dizziness, loss of appetite, bloodshot eyes, slow growth, anemia, and reproductive disorders. Those are all symptoms if you are not getting enough L-lysine. Now, again, this is just one thing. It could be other things happening in your life, right? This is just something I wanted to point out. Now, osteoporosis. As mentioned just previously, now L-lysine, it is huge in assisting other things in our body, right? So it helps the body absorb calcium, plus it reduces the amount of calcium that is lost in our urine. Crazy, right? So since calcium is obviously it's crucial for bone health, some researchers think that L-lysine may help prevent bone loss associated with osteoporosis. So how do you get it? How do you get L-lysine? What is it in? Is it in any specific foods? Do you just have to supplement? That's what I'm going to talk about here. So it is very high in actually, so beans, legumes, peas, lentils, those types of things, they contain a lot of L-lysine. So if you're vegan, a lot of vegans eat beans and legumes as a good protein source. So good for you guys. However, if you do suffer from IBS and beans tend to bloat you, that may not be the best thing to start adding to your diet, maybe a little bit at a time. For myself, I'm a little bit more into the healing process of my gut. But if you are not, you definitely want to be careful with that. There's great ways you can soak your beans overnight, or you can supplement as well. I actually take a supplement. It's just a powder form. There's pills, capsules, powder. I just prefer the powder just because it's just L-lysine powder. Like that is it, right? You don't have to worry about the capsule or if there's any fillers. So just do your research. What I have here, it's just from NutriCost. That's why I'm just reading off the tub here. And I just put it either in my smoothie or guacamole or a dip. You can't even taste it. It's just really, you can't even taste it. So mine is gluten-free, non-GMO. It's third-party tested. This is not sponsored, but it's, you could just look like on Amazon, right? And just type in like L-lysine powder and then a bunch of different things will pop up. And it's unflavored. It doesn't taste like anything. But as I kind of mentioned when I first started talking about this, stress. So get this, L-lysine may play a role in reducing anxiety and stress. And everyone is anxious today. I admit, including myself, I've suffered with anxiety. And a lot of people that suffer with anxiety don't know what they're anxious about. That's the weird thing, right? So, but a lot of people are. And of course, there's things you could do to help, CBD and, yoga, meditation, prayer, which does. And I do have a favorite, I have a lot of favorite Bible verses, but one is Matthew 6:27. And it says, you can't add a single hour to your life by worrying about it. And it's so true that worrying about X, Y, and Z isn't really going to help the situation. You can't add an extra hour to your life by worrying. In fact, it can take away from the quality of your life, worry and stress and anxiety. So it can actually do the opposite. So it's just, there's no point. And it's just a great reminder for myself. Wanted to pass that along. Anyways, back to L-lysine. Now, these are really cool studies. So one study found that L-lysine blocked receptors involved in stress response. Researchers observed that rats given L-lysine had reduced rates of stress-induced loose bowel movements. Of course, it's crazy how they can figure that out. But this is actually a different study on people. A 1-week study in 50 healthy people noticed that supplementing with 2.64 grams of L-lysine lowered their stress-induced anxiety and reduced levels of stress hormone cortisol. Similarly, adding 4.2 grams of L-lysine per kilogram of wheat flour deprived villages in Syria helped reduce anxiety scores in males with very high stress levels. Now, after 3 months, consuming the L-lysine enriched flour also helped reduce cortisol levels in women. So men and women, males and females, did see a reduced cortisol level in their body. This is amazing. L-lysine, this is kind of crazy, but it may also help people with schizophrenia. And that's huge. So, and again, this is research to back it, going from the source. So, this research in particular about schizophrenia, it's still in the early stages, but they say it does have the potential to improve schizophrenia symptoms in combination with other things. So it helps and assists all of that. Now, again, this is just an essential amino acid. We do not produce it on our own. So you definitely want to be either, consuming foods with L-lysine or supplementing. So again, reduce stress. It can help with fatigue, anemia, all that stuff. And again, bone loss. So type it, do your own research. I'm just the messenger. But it's something that I've been taking for about, I want to say, a couple years. Cold sores. A lot of people take L-lysine for cold sores. That's pretty much what people think of when they have a cold sore is L-lysine, but it's an amino acid that just assists in so many other things. I also want to just point out, I know I mentioned it before, but if you take collagen, L-lysine, it's like they need to be taken together. It helps with collagen production so much. So if you are taking collagen, you're spending good money on it, you obviously want it to work, right? So that is today's bite of knowledge. Thanks for listening to this episode of Digest This. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a review in your podcast app to let us know. If you're ever wondering how you can support me and this podcast, sharing it with your friends and family is the best way. This is a Resonant Media production produced by Drake Peterson and edited by Chris McComb. To email the show, message us at digestthispod@gmail.com. See you next time. The content of this show is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not a substitute for individual medical and mental health advice and does not constitute a provider-patient relationship. As always, talk to your doctor or health team first.